Let me share a story of a girl. She was born and brought up in a loving family in Pokhara. She grew up seeing her parents working so hard to send her and her two sisters to the best school in town. She also grew up hearing her parents say that their daughters was no less a son, and they will do great in life, will make their dreams come true. She had no idea what that dream was. All she knew was that she is going to transform that dream into a reality. But it was not just the motivating statements she grew up with. Throughout her childhood, she was body shamed and called different hurtful names. Moti, Hati, some smart people who infused love in these hurtful names. Motu. She would cry. Things got worse. People had this opportunity of coming up with comments like, Moto mancheko moto asu zaryo. This humiliation led her self-esteem to be on the ground. It affected every aspect of her life, including her academics. New words were introduced to define her, loddu. More spaces where people could pass comments. Moto mancheko dimag ta motai rahecha. When she was in class 7, a group of girls called her names. That day, she just could not take it. She walked towards them and told them, "Stop it, not a thappad khalas." They did not. Dared her to slap. She lost it and slapped one of those girls. Then it was a nightmare. They hit her. Her specs broken in pieces on the floor. Nobody in the class came to help her. Nobody. You see, a laddu is to be eaten, not to be friends with. A laddu is to be eaten, not to be friends with. Nobody in the class came to help her. Holding her broken specs in her hands, she cried and consoled herself. Some sort of inner voice screamed inside her that nobody's gonna come to you. You're gonna save yourself. It's just you, remember? You have to do great things in life, and don't forget that dream. You have to transform that dream into a reality. By the age of 16, she had her own assumptions of what that dream could be, thinking a lot of what her parents would be so proud of. She concluded, a strong woman. She had her own assumptions of what strong would be. Someone who's independent, someone who had a voice, someone who is heard, someone who could do it all by her own, someone who would be fine in every situation, someone is that superwoman and help others. Slowly, she started to build a wall so that no one could enter her space. A wall. She gave it all that she had, did her best to be the best in everything that she did, from academics to every activity. She made sure that she was heard. She made sure that she would speak up. A mask on her face, ever smiling, beautiful, strong words and sentences she'd be speaking from hundreds of motivational videos that she's watched. She's to shun every question that would come from within. That what she was doing in life, for every time she had this stronger explanation of doing great in life and making that dream come true. And all in this process, she was slowly getting detached from people. People for her were network from whom she could learn, get feedback, and grow into a stronger individual. Things started accelerating once she reached her college. She was the topper, doing events, participating and winning competitions. She got this opportunity where she beautifully presented on being happy in your own skin, and feedbacks like, I see you in TED. And messages flowed like, you are my inspiration. You are so inspiring. Your presentation helps me a lot. Followed by the best graduating student award, and messages continued to flow at, you are so great. Congratulations. She felt that all that she did was working out. She was already doing great things in life. She was already that strong woman that she always wanted to be. Well, that strong woman is this beautiful woman standing right in front of you. In my journey of doing great things in life, I decided to sign up for a movement, Teach for Nepal, that works to end education inequity in Nepal. The fellowship program demanded me to go, live, and teach for 2 years in a public school in Sindhupalchowk. The fellowship program was one big opportunity for me to see how I would work outside my comfort zone, to see what my strengths and weaknesses were, to see what great things I would do as a change maker. I knew I had it all to fight against all that injustice that was there. With so much of energy, I went in there to bring the change that we were looking for. I went to the school, met my students, built a very good relationship with them so that they could come up to me, share, and I could respond. My students, though, were famous for all wrong reasons. In the very initial days of my school, when I asked the teachers there about the students, different people had different things to say, except one thing that everyone said. बच्चाहरूको चाहिँ major behavioral issue छ है मिस. सुरुबाट strict हुनुस्, not a टाउकोमै टेक्छन्. For me, that was so not fair. I believe that every individual has unlimited scope for improvement, and reinforcing time and again that you are behavioral issue भएको बच्चा would never help that kid to learn, to improve, and to grow, just like no negative comments helped me grow as a child. All I was doing was making my kids see the good in them, the best in them, and was looking for an opportunity where I could prove the people's mindset wrong. The opportunity, it knocked. A football match. So my behavioral issue bhayeka bachchaharu were assumed to be physical players. Rough खेल्ने बच्चाहरु है यिनीहरु चाहिँ. Before the match, I sat down with them and I told them, I don't care whether we win or lose this match, because we have bigger parameters that would decide whether we win or not today. We need to prove them that we are good players, both skill-wise and behavior-wise, and that's where we will win. My boys are such good players, but unfortunately, we lost the match that day. And I honestly got so scared that something might happen. But they just walked out of the ground and went to our space. I could see them really upset. One of my boys almost lost it, but I was happy to see the other boys, making him calm down and telling him that we'll have other matches to win, don't worry, and stuff. And I was so happy. The strong woman is one step closer to changing people's mindset. But all of a sudden, all of my students started shouting in ways, "Oi, hamro misलाई कराउने!" A stupid misunderstanding. And a friend of mine, who was also a fellow from another school, he just yelled at me. And I was stunned, why is he yelling at me? Why is that emotion coming out of him? I just not take it. And that very moment, my students could not take it that their teacher was getting disrespected, and they fought back. things got difficult and I made them get back to their homes, amid all that chaos, I realized something. Hamro miss. That night, I went back to my room and I broke down, recalling the moment when nobody was there for me. And today, and that day when I assumed that I was this one strong woman, there's this bunch of 12-14 वर्षको बच्चाहरू who actually stood beside me and fought for me. And that particular incident made me question the definition of strong for me. I realized I was not alone. Few deep breaths, I realized I was never alone. I made myself alone. That was not just me, it was me and people around me. I realized how cold I had become from within just to portray myself as a strong woman, how I just could not call up my parents and say that I was not fine in my worst time because I had to portray I'm a strong woman. How I only had one friend in life. I just could not express anything to her. In that moment, I accepted the emotions my kids had for me. Their expression of rage was love for me. Their expression of rage was respect for me. And then I realized being strong was so much more and so different than what I thought. I have to be strong. I have to be strong from within. I have to accept the energy and the support I receive from my surroundings. I have to own up to my emotions. And I have to be strong enough to express it. That realization helped me live my 2 years of fellowship and not just survive it. My fellowship journey was not just roses and petals. Behind every success story I proudly shared on social media, there was a list of failure stories. I just don't know how the earlier, stronger woman would have handled the situation because there were times where something really bad would happen just right in front of me and I just could not do anything because it was so out of my locus of control. That moment when you experience what helplessness and powerlessness feels like. Moment when I was on my knees. But this time, my relationship with my students was not just them coming to me and sharing those stories. This time, I was sharing my stories with my kids as well. I was strong enough to seek for help, to call for support. Me and my kids, we've worked together for every success story that we've had in the journey. Brick by brick, I decided to bring that wall down. This time, I was making friends, not network. Friends who broadened the horizon of life for me. Friends who really cared and made me laugh. Friends who gave me the reality check that I can be weak at times and I should be strong enough to accept it. It feels amazing when I reflect back and know that in the process of learning, in the process of teaching how much I've learned, me and my kids, we have grown together. We have developed together. And this journey, it was worth celebrating. Me and my kids, we've celebrated everything, every success, every downfall, every correct spelling, every hand that rose to answer a question, also every hand that rose to ask a question, every voice that said, this is wrong. Every stupid mistake, every wise mistake, every joke, every laughter, every smile, every tear, every dream, my dream, their dream, our dream that they will attend an excellent education. Talking about my parents, recently I had this radio interview after which my dad finally knows what I'm doing, so he's so proud. And my mom, She's in some different world after people started calling her to tell that how blessed she is and her daughter speaks so beautifully. So my parents are so happy. I still don't know what that dream is, but it makes me so happy to see them this proud. And today, this girl, this woman, takes this opportunity to thank everyone in her network. The wall, it is slowly coming down. Feels like it would take some more time. I'm in no rush as well. But yes, thank you. Every time I've expressed my thank you before was from the core of my heart for you helping me to learn and grow. But today, I thank you all for being a part of my journey and making me the strong woman who could stand here today and yell this story. So thank you. I just remembered something. To a friend who is here, who yelled at me that day, who changed my life through that yelling, thank you so much. But this does not mean that I would take your yells throughout my life. Such activities now would not be entertained, but thank you so much.